So the Miami Heat do not start the West Coast trip off on the right start. Second straight loss. They lose 130 to 120 to the Lakers. I'm Theo Dorsey with ESPN West Palm. I'm giving you all you can heat. And as always, we're presented by Robinhood. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. I'm not going to spend all day recapping Lakers Heat. I think it was one of those things, tip to the whistle. The Lakers led. The Lakers won. They came out to that 8-0 lead, and the Heat never really got back into it. Poor shooting night, but more impactfully, just a poor defensive effort all around. And the Heat, you can't give up 130 points on the road and expect to win those kind of games. We'll get back into Lakers Heat because, of course, those are the results. And we want to talk results here with the Miami Heat this year, who I still do think can be a top 4, top 5 seed in the East this season. I want to start with the rumors. I get it. I get how the Heat Nation can be. You see a superstar, quote unquote, a all-star level player, a flashy guy like Ja Morant having some internal battles and struggles with their team, and you start salivating. You know what I'm saying? You start thinking, I don't know if it's just me and it's because I'm in Heat Twitter and whatnot, but I feel like Miami is the quickest team, the quickest fan base to start jumping right to the graphic machine. And when you see insert player here having frustrations with coach, front office, with fans, immediately I start seeing these jersey swaps and whatnot. I've seen 20,000 Ja Morant to the Miami Heat jersey swaps. Good people, I'm here to tell you to officially pump the brakes. It's not that I didn't enjoy Ja from really kind of hopped onto the national stage out there at Murray State, balling in the tournament. And even in his first few years at Memphis, he's electric. We felt like he could be like a Derrick Rose 2.0. There were some AI comps there. He's an undersized guard who's flashy. Nobody can stay in front of him, yada, 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 whole nine. The Ja Morant experience is self-explanatory. The hype around the dude is more than understandable. Loved him as a player for the longest. Ja Morant's never going to be a member of the Miami Heat. He's not. Ja Morant is not the kind of guy that would fit in with this Heat roster, with the coaching staff, with the level of standard that Miami tends to hold its players to. I don't see it, not one bit. I get that it's fun. We do this all the time with every single player that's seemingly available. And Ja Morant right now serving a 1-game suspension with the Grizzlies because of conduct detrimental to the team. Because of, in fact, of this. Think about this for a second. If you're a Heat fan, just think logically. And we see this happen all the time. Guys become available. The Heat fake take swings at them and don't pull the trigger. No pun intended with Ja Morant and everything and the gun stuff from last year. But I'm going to play the post-game interaction with Ja Morant from following the Grizzlies loss, where his level of not just production, but his level of effort was called into question, which Spo don't play with, which Pat don't play with. I'll play to you how he handled it post-game, and you tell me if this 26-year-old now face of the franchise point guard who's on a max contract, you tell me if him responding like this post-game is something that would go over well, being that we just went through some stuff like this with Jimmy Butler, who had way more, juice for the squeeze. Here's Ja Morant. 50 seconds of just absolute, what I would say, immaturity. Just take a look and you let me know.
What went wrong to you today?
Go ask the coaching staff.
Do you feel like, there was anything you could do differently, I guess?
You go ask them. They had a whole spiel in here, so.
From the outside, and the outside may be wrong, but from the outside, it didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff why.
Okay.
You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
What could have been done different to get a different outcome other than asking the coaching staff?
According to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was after, so it's cool.
The coaching staff message was
It's
it?
cool, bro. We good?
You didn't have anything physically wrong in terms of illness or anything?
Oh, no,
You were
I'm
under
good.
the
I'm
weather.
fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
So that's it. Ask the coaching staff. I think he dropped about 6 ask the coaching staffs and 0 definitive answers. The one thing that he was kind of transparent about was that apparently, and remember, the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins, who was Ja's coach since 2019 when he entered the league at the end of last year before they went into the playoffs. This is a whole new regime that's taken over in Memphis. And we have seen his minutes go down from 34 a game to about 26, 27, which is the lowest in his career. But remember, he said specifically in there, they talked about playing him less as a strategy for them to win more. That's what the new guy in the room who's done all the research, who's seen him at practice, who's dealt with him in the locker room, who's had, I'm sure, several one-on-one conversations with him. That's what he thinks of Ja Morant right now. And clearly the coaching staff laid into the players, which is what Ja seemed to be reacting to at that point. So again, he's getting paid $40+ million a year. He's got to be the guy that is the face of the franchise and answer those kind of questions when times are tough. And let's keep it G, like times are going to be tough for the Grizzlies. They're the Grizzlies. But more importantly, I don't see the Heat wanting to give out the amount of draft capital it would take, the amount of assets it would take to acquire Ja Morant, at least right now. Maybe you let his value dip a little bit more, depreciate, and then you can get him at a lower cost where it's not really much of a risk. But especially coming off of the fact that the last time you traded a first-round pick for an undersized guard, he ended up getting arrested one game into the 2025 season. Not saying that's what Ja Morant's got coming, and not saying that you can really go, apples to apples, Terry Rozier to Ja Morant, talent-wise, draft capital-wise, of what it's going to take to get him, but then also what you expect from them going forward. I'm just saying the Heat are already hurting for draft capital right now. They're not going to leverage themselves for a guy who's 26 years old. He is, I looked it up because I couldn't believe this. You think about Zion and Joel Embiid as guys who miss a lot of games. Ja Morant since 2019 has missed 35% of the games that he will be available to play in. That's not just suspension stuff. That's injury stuff. He hasn't played more than 70 games in his entire career. This is year 7. And he likely doesn't get there this year if he's already serving a 1-game suspension now 6 games into the season. Ja Morant also, by the way, is a 6'1", 6'2" guard who doesn't defend, who can't shoot well, who clearly has an issue with the current leadership of the Grizzlies right now and seems to be a little bit malcontent. And at the very least, he seems to be a little bit reluctant is the word I'll use to actually abide by like regulations, by rules. Remember, and this is my issue. I'm not going to get too much deep into this. I want to get to the actual recap, but this is why I don't think there's a chance in hell that Ja Morant becomes a member of the Miami Heat. The whole gun flashing situation and the suspensions that then came afterwards last year, where Ja Morant's on Instagram Live and streaming, he had the whole court case with the kid that he got in trouble with and everything. All of those incidents that happened time after time after time. My biggest issue with them, and let's not forget too, after it was all said and done, he's doing the celebrations to kind of taunt the league offices and Adam Silver for not being able to actually keep him in check. My whole issue with all of that is it was all completely avoidable. It just was. And he had been told, and he bucked back time and time and time again. And we're not talking about a 19, 20-year-old dude at this point. He was 25 last year. He's 26 years old now. And I don't think those kind of, I don't want to call them character issues. I don't think those kind of characteristics, though, are going to evolve or get too much better with time. He's only become more and more enabled in Memphis. And I think that's creating the kind of player that should stay in Memphis. I want to watch Ja be great. I want to watch him ball out. I don't want to see him in a Miami Heat uniform, especially not at the cost that it would take. And I do believe that the Heat front office is wise enough to not do the same. So cut it out. No more Ja Morant stuff. Let's wait till Anthony Edwards becomes available. I saw on the Hoop Collective them talking about where Ja stands in the league right now as a point guard. And it got me thinking. The juice might actually not be worth the squeeze. Like, for real, for real. We could have already seen the dude's peak. They compared him to Darius Garland right now. And I'm like, man, if Ja is one of your best players on your team and you're going into a playoff series and you got to go up against, in the next couple of years, guys like even some of the younger dudes coming out, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, those dudes already look like dogs and they're big. and they're faster and they're more athletic because they're also younger, and they're probably going to become better jump shooters over the next couple of years, which Ja Morant never did. Think about the guys that are current day stars at the same positions: Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, them dudes are younger than him. I think the book is out on Ja, and I don't want to see him coming to Biscayne Boulevard. Moving on, though. 130 to 120. The Heat do lose to the Lakers. The Heat now have the Clippers tonight. I'm recording this here on a Monday morning following a football Sunday and, of course, a late Sunday night game at the crypto.com, whatever you want to call it, damn it. Whatever it was an absolute shootout last night, and it was fun to watch. It was a joy. It felt like Lob City reincarnated. There were alley-oops being thrown all over the place. And just like I was following the Spurs loss, I am not derailed by this one. We still don't got Norm Powell, people. That groin injury is still lingering. I'm waiting to see if he's going to be made available for the Clippers game. He got ruled out last minute against the Lakers here. So there's still a chance that you see Norm tonight against the Clippers. You didn't want to play him in a back-to-back at 32 years old, especially coming off of a cross-country trip there to get out there to the West Coast. So I understand it. We'll see what happens here. But I do think that the Heat need a win tonight against the Clippers to get things back going. I absolutely loved UD pulling some strings and getting Bam Adebayo and Norm Powell out there to the Amazon Prime Studios to break down the new Heat offense. That was a joy to see because it showed a lot of the newfound chemistry Powell's having with the Miami Heat and Bam. But it also shows that these are guys that are fully bought in. Norm Powell talked about how he's inclined to make this his last stop in the NBA. And it doesn't mean that he's like ready to retire. No, like play for the next 3-4 years, as many as he can in a Heat uniform. I would love to see that. And I would love to see him get extended by the Heat. I would love to see things work out. He's got to be available, though. I can't criticize Ja Morant for it and then not say the same thing about Norm, who, of course, is 32 years old. But the Heat need him right now with Tyler Hero out. But in this game, though, last night, boiled down to a couple of things. Number one, he just didn't shoot it well. You look at the box score, and Miami did not have its best shooting night. Honestly, one of its worst shooting nights of the season so far. 9 for 33 from deep. Only one player hit multiple jumpers from beyond the arc, and that was Simone Fontecchio. 2 for 8 from 3. Everybody else, bad. Wiggins, 1 for 6. Bam, 1 for 5. Kel'el Ware, 1 for 1. Davion Mitchell, one out of 100%. Maybe shoot more next time. We're struggling. Pele Larson, man, 1 for 4. I thought there was a lot of good play out of the Heat offense. I just think it came down to one of those make or miss types nights. On the other side, again, there was one thing I loved about the Miami Heat's defense, and the rest of it was absolutely bad, especially at the rim and especially defending alley-oops. But Bam Adebayo was great on Luka Doncic, switching out there, holding him, forcing him into bad jump shots. Luka was 1 for 11 from deep. And generally, when you hold Luka to that kind of a shooting night, you win that basketball game. But they had a lot of, Austin Reeves and Jake LaRavia just had, absolutely. It felt backbreaking, especially late in the game. The Reeves jumpers that were going down and LaRavia getting to the rim, it felt backbreaking what they were doing on offense. But that's why you have to tighten up and just be better. The Lakers were bigger than the Heat. The Lakers were making more shots than the Heat. And they led wire to wire here. So you got to give credit where credit is due. It's just one of those games. It's an 82-game regular season. You don't get too caught up in the ups and the downs of it. You don't want to drop 3 straight here, so you do have to win the game in the night against the Clippers. But the saving grace right now for Miami is you are without your 2 best offensive weapons. Unless you count Simone Fontecchio as one of the 2 best, because the way he's been shooting it, I think he still leads the league in 3-point shooting percentage. But no Hero, no Powell, and losing about 10 to the Lakers, on the front end of the back-to-back, it's no problem to me. It's no problem to me. So I'm not getting too caught up in that. I do think the Heat defense can be better, will be better, and a lot of that's going to boil down to the next guy that we do have to talk about, and that is Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware, who got pulled early in this game, and he did not play much. His box score, final stat line, 12 minutes, 7 points, 4 rebounds, a block and a turnover. That after starting the game, but again, not starting the second half, playing sparingly throughout the rest of the game, and it becoming a kind of a point of contention by the end of this thing. And just a couple of points on Ware. Number one, it's a sophomore season. You see who's balling right now? Jaime Jaquez Jr. led the Heat in scoring last night with 31 points. Off the bench, mind you. And he's been one of the best, most consistent players for the Heat all year long, playing almost, I keep on hinting at it, he's almost playing this pseudo Jimmy Butler role, the way in which he attacks. He uses his body and his strength and his size to kind of get positioning on the defense, get a little rim pressure. He's so smooth. It's obviously not Jimmy. But 31 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, pretty solid defensively. Like, that's what you want to see. Let's not forget, last year we were down on Jaime. Like, last year, people were ready to trade him for a bag of chips based on the sophomore slump. And now in year 3, it's all starting to come together as he's found his role in this offense. Kel'el Ware is now 6 games into his sophomore campaign. And even at training camp, when I spoke with Eric Spoelstra, he talked specifically about how he thought Kel'el Ware needed to show more. He thought he needed to show more in Boca Raton. He thought that he needed to show more throughout the several times that he had seen him in those practices when we just talked with him. And I think that through 6 games here, that's the same sentiment. The pick and roll defense, apparently struggling there with reads, where he needs to be, positioning and whatnot, which can derail the whole thing, especially with a Heat team that kind of, they're not defending you by just being man on man. Like, Davion Mitchell is one of those kind of guys where it's like, all right, I can hound you, lock you up. It's me v you. You're not getting past me. But the Heat, they do a lot of team defending, and they'll have to do more of that, especially with Norm Powell and Tyler Hero come back. And it seems like he's a little bit off right there. His role is going to be a little inconsistent until he can find his way and until Spo can trust him more. And I do think it just boils down to that. It's a trust thing. It's not a talent thing. It's a trust thing with Kel'el Ware. I'm not super concerned, especially this early on. But one thing that got me a little bit tantalized was watching actually a big on the other side with the Los Angeles Lakers. Y'all see what Jackson Hayes looks like right now? Don't forget, Jackson Hayes was a punchline in this league like less than a year ago, it feels like. And he actually looks good. Like, Luka Doncic has unlocked him in a way that has let him fit seamlessly into his role. And you don't have your rook if you're the Miami Heat, who is a guard who can get the ball to guys, who's a facilitator, who also can get his own shot as well. So you think about what it'll look like when you have a guy like him more so in the lineup and how he can help unlock Kel'el Ware. But also you just look at Jackson Hayes' production and his progression in this league, and you say, why can't Kel'el Ware, and this is going to sound terrible, but why can't Kel'el Ware do what Jackson Hayes has been able to do? It's take Jackson Hayes way longer. I think Jackson Hayes is way less talented. But I say that more so to say it's just funny watching those two things on the other side of each other. As Hayes went 7 for 7, the game is so easy for him right now. He just plays his role and he does it well. Sometimes he'll get fooled. Sometimes it won't look great. But he even hit a 3-pointer, which was kind of shocking to me. I didn't really know he fully had that in this game right now. So again, it's just one of those things I want to point out. I like Kel'el Ware. I still think he's going to be an excellent player for the Miami Heat going forward. Just think that it was a little, it's a little hiccup that they'll get cleaned up. The Miami Heat next. The Miami Heat next will have the Clippers tonight. We'll bring you another episode of All You Can Heat. Giving you all you can heat, man. It's a buffet of Heat content here on ESPN West Palm. Make sure you download the ESPN South Florida app. Make sure you stay tapped in on the YouTube. Subscribe. Drop a comment. Matter of fact, comment this. I want to know this right now today. Is the Clippers game this early in the season a must-win? A must-win. And I'm not saying it's a must-win because it's going to impact playoff standings is it a must-win for morale? You don't want to drop 3 straight, especially against Western Conference foes where you don't get enough of that. Plus, once you're done with this West Coast road trip, you got the Nuggets, you come back, you're starting group play for the in-season tournament. Is tonight a must-win on the back end of a back-to-back against the Clippers? I want to see a bounce back from the defensive side of the ball. I want to see more of the same from the offense. The pace was there. The shots were there. They're going to eventually fall. So I'm looking at it as a game I'm locked in on that the Heat should come out and show out against the Clippers. They're not that strong. But again, you never know. It's the NBA. It's 82 games. This was All You Can Heat, presented to you by Robinhood. I'm Theo Dorsey with ESPN South Florida and ESPN West Palm. Thanks for tapping in, and we'll see you again later this week.